The ballroom glittered with chandeliers and polished marble floors, reflecting the sharp suits and designer gowns of my wife's corporate elite. I adjusted my simple navy blazer, already aware of the sideways glances. This wasn't my world of boardrooms and million-dollar contracts. It was hers. She squeezed my hand reassuringly, whispering that everything would be fine. But from across the room, a tall man with a shark-like smile watched me with calculated amusement. I didn't know his name yet, but I could already tell he had marked me as tonight's entertainment. And he was just waiting for the right moment to strike. His name was Rohan Malhotra, Senior Vice President, Harvard graduate, the kind of man who introduced himself with a smirk rather than a handshake. The moment my wife introduced us, he sized me up in seconds. "So, what do you do?" he asked loudly, ensuring nearby executives could hear. I replied calmly, but before I could finish, he chuckled and said, "Ah, flexible schedule, I see." A few polite laughs followed. My wife stiffened beside me. I smiled faintly. I had faced worse than a corporate peacock with a microphone and a fragile ego. Dinner began, and Rohan took control of the conversation at our table. He turned every topic into a subtle jab. When someone asked about investments, he said, "Some of us understand markets. Others just watch from the sidelines." His eyes flicked to me again. The table grew uncomfortably quiet. I could see my wife's embarrassment turning into anger. She started to defend me, but I gently touched her hand under the table. "Not yet. Let him speak. Some people dig their own graves faster when they believe they're standing tall." Then came the open mic segment, a harmless tradition where employees shared achievements or funny moments from the year. Rohan stepped up confidently, wine glass in hand. "Tonight," he announced, "we celebrate excellence. And sometimes, we also celebrate courage." His eyes found me in the crowd. It takes real bravery to attend a party where everyone's out of your league. Laughter echoed louder this time. My wife stood up, furious, but I rose before she could speak. If this was his stage, I was ready for the spotlight. I walked toward the microphone slowly, feeling every curious gaze in the room. Rohan handed it to me with a triumphant grin. "Please," he said dramatically, "tell us what you do." I took a breath, then spoke evenly. "I build companies." The room quieted. Specifically, I founded Ardent Dynamics. A few confused murmurs floated through the hall. I continued, "We specialize in restructuring failing corporations. Last quarter, we acquired 3 underperforming firms." I paused, locking eyes with Rohan. One of them was this company's primary investor. A ripple of shock spread across the audience. The CEO, seated near the stage, straightened abruptly. Rohan's smile faltered. I went on calmly. "I don't usually attend public events related to ongoing acquisitions." But my wife insisted. Gasps replaced laughter. "Tomorrow morning, our board votes on executive restructuring." My gaze lingered on Rohan just long enough. Performance reviews can be illuminating. The silence was suffocating now. Rohan's confident posture cracked, his grip tightening around his glass. For the first time that night, he looked unsure. The CEO hurried to the stage, whispering urgently in my ear. I nodded politely, then handed back the microphone. "Enjoy the evening," I said simply. As I returned to my seat, the room parted slightly, the same executives who had laughed now studying me with cautious respect. My wife looked at me, eyes wide, not in embarrassment, but in awe. Rohan remained frozen near the stage, color draining from his face as the weight of realization settled over him. He hadn't just mocked a husband, he had challenged the man deciding his professional fate. Later that night, as the party thinned and whispers replaced music, Rohan approached our table. The arrogance was gone, replaced by stiff politeness. "I wasn't aware," he began quietly. I met his gaze without hostility. "That's the problem with assumptions," I replied. "They're expensive." He nodded, swallowing his pride. But here was the twist he never expected. I leaned closer and added, "Relax. I don't mix personal insults with business decisions. Your numbers will decide your future. Not tonight." The relief on his face was almost comical. As we stepped out into the cool night air, my wife slipped her arm through mine, laughter bubbling out of her at last. You planned that, didn't you? She asked. I shook my head. No. But I never attend a battlefield unprepared. She smiled, proud and amused. Behind us, the grand doors of the ballroom closed, sealing away the spectacle. Rohan had tried to humiliate a quiet man in a simple blazer. What he hadn't realized was that power doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes, it waits patiently, until the perfect moment to speak.